Diamonds on my wrist when I step up on a diamond, 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 diamonds on my wrist when I step up on
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It's the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday to break down 3 industry articles. As you can see, I'm in my hotel room. This is our last day of our Florida trip. Literally, when we're done with this, I'm jumping in our rental car and we're heading over to the airport and we're flying back to Arizona today. But I had to get this show into you guys. And, you know, again, I'm a man of my commitments and everything else out there. And this is what we bring out. So before we jump in to our show, as always, you guys, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at Bitfreighter. You guys, they are on a mission to connect logistics industry with a flat fee for unlimited EDI messaging. Carriers and brokers alike, if you are still paying for EDI character charges or transaction-based fees with setup costs, you are costing yourself money. You are paying EDI fees for loads you decline. These guys have flipped the script on EDI pricing model. With their unlimited EDI messaging pricing and their managed EDI services, it is no longer an expensive and unattainable and painful process. Bitfreighter has managed EDI, and their managed EDI platform is fully integrated with TMS providers like PCS Software, DIT, Keypoint, Revinova, and EasyLoader to provide a seamless transition for all your EDI needs. Take back control of your EDI by having full access and insight into all of your connections and data. If you are not already looking for ways to make your company more efficient and cost-effective, you now have a platform that you can help scale your connections without a revenue drain and utilize in Bitfreighter. If you're ready to learn more, visit www.bitfreighter.com to request a demo today and check and see if your TMS is one of the 9 that they have full integrations with. Just do me a favor, you guys, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. I know it doesn't look like the lights are on in this room right now, but this is the best I could do because there's a big open window over there. And you know what, you guys, that's 99% of the battle is just showing up. And that's what we do here at the Freight Coach Morning Show. We're going to show up regardless. Also, my friends over at VHub, you guys, asset reutilization is the future in freight. All right. We all need trailers. We all know this. We know that that is the biggest objection that as a broker, you always get is you need to be able to create a drop trailer pool capacity, or you need access to trailers to help your customers within their operation. So right now, and you guys will see this coming across the ticker here in a little bit, we have trailers available out there in the, give me just 1 second here. We got them over in the Shippensburg, PA area. And you can see they have a round trip one. It doesn't show up on this map, but it's in York, Pennsylvania. And you go up there into Coteau de Lac, which is just outside of the Montreal area. And you can grab one and come back down over there to Shippensburg. And as you guys can see, you get paid to relocate these trailers, you guys. So like, talk about a way to help offset some of the operational costs that you might be facing right now. If you're a driver in this market and say your trailer's in the shop for the next couple of weeks, this helps you stay active and keep earning revenue while your equipment is being serviced. And then they also have some reefer trailers available out there in Monroe Township, New Jersey, heading up into multiple locations in Canada, outside of Montreal, outside of Ottawa, and then outside of Toronto itself. And then the one-way repositionings, you guys, they have these out of Glade Spring, Virginia as well. But as you can see, you get paid $18.50 to do this. And these are brand new trailers, you guys, out here in Clearfield, Utah, which is just outside of Salt Lake City, as well as over in Paragould, Arkansas, and Glade Spring. These are all brand new 2022 dry vans for you to send up in there into the Delta, British Columbia area. So again, check it out, you guys. As always, it's just a way for us to help stand out. All right. It's a way for us to add value out there. So again, hit them up, vhubapp.com, and do me a favor. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. But my man, Xavier Campos or Stacy Steen, they'll be in the comments here as well. Hit them up directly. Jeremy Reed, good morning. He's got his truck up and running, man. He was posting some pictures of his Kenworth the other day that he got. And dude, it's sick. It looks slick, man. Jeffrey Weiss, what's up? That's right. That's right, man. I did complete 75 hard. And you know, and also what's crazy, dude, is that I'm craving to get back on it. So it's like literally when I get back home tonight, I promised my son I'd eat pizza with him. And then tomorrow morning, I'm getting back onto phase 1 right away. Cause I still got 2 workouts in yesterday. I got some cardio in this morning as well. And then it's time to get back after it. Cause I can already see that I'm a fucking disaster without this structure, to say the least. Yeah, Jeremy, how's it going? Do you have freight up and running right now, man? Are you pulling freight? Do you have a trailer? If you don't have a trailer, hint, hint, I know a company that has some for you. But no, man, I hope you got some freight up and running, and you're able to grow out your American dream, dude. I commend you for getting into this market right now, or any market. And it's one of those things, man, that I'm cheering for you. And I know my boy, Adam Wingfield, my buddy, he's cheering for you as well, man. We're all about helping people take that stuff to the next level. Also, we're at day 45 of the Freight Coach Tally, which is ironic because one of these articles is about that, about there being a truck parking issue in this industry, as well as a facilities issue. And for those of you who have asked, I'm going to continue to bring this shit up every single day, because I don't do this for vanity metrics. All right. I don't do this for likes and comments. All right. They help. Don't get me wrong. They help get this up and running. But I do this to bring awareness to the real issues in this industry. And I'm not trying to sell you an analytics program that's going to help you do anything like that. So let me see. We got a first-time listener, Simon. Good morning. First-time listener here. Glutton for punishment, or gluten? You got me. See, this is where I'm at right now, man. I see gluten, I'm like, oh, dude, we're getting to eat some pizza. Dedicated. What do you mean by that? This market's brutal. What are you saying? Are you talking about the fuel? Let's break down some live stuff today too, you guys. Like, I got some articles we can talk about, but I can give you some live feedback on some of that stuff. And again, Jeffrey Weiss, who's in the audience, he's one of the smartest carrier reps, operations guys that I've ever worked with in this industry. So he's somebody who can help you out as well, man. Let me see. And then also, as you guys know, the price for fucking, I don't know, what's more rare than gold at this point? Because whatever ferrous metal, Jeffrey, what's more rare than gold? You guys move ferrous metals, because that's what diesel is right now. It's insane what it's at. And then out in California, I saw that there's reports that it might hit $10 a gallon out there. I mean, it's kind of hard to say anything other than the fact that whoever's calling the shots right now hates us. They literally hate every single one of us. Let's see here. Fuel and drive in spot market. Yeah, dude, we got to get you, like, what lanes do you run right now? What area are you located in, man? What lanes do you run? Let's put together a plan here live on the show this morning. Let's see if we can help you identify some more profitable lanes. But also, shout out to in regards to the fuel. More Andrew Teal. That's funny, bro. That's funny. Andrew Teal is another guy you need to be connected with as well, man. We got to get, and then, again, let's get a plan put together here live on the show. All right. We got some smart brokers who are here. Scott, the freight sensei, he's here as well, man. He can help you out as well, man. We want to keep you profitable and in business. All right. So he's based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, you guys. Who has drive-in freight out there that we can get him running on a consistent basis with? All right. This guy's in the show every single day supporting what I'm doing. So I want to support him in his way. Who has dedicated freight out of the Fort Wayne, Indiana, or surrounding areas that we can get in contact with him on? Where do you like to run as well, man? Let's get that. See, and then Simon, here we go, man. You run Nashville to Jersey and back. It's boring, but that's exactly what's needed right now, man. So Simon, since it's your first time listening, you've never heard this before, but my dad was an owner op, man. He ran his own company for 40 years. He literally ran Minneapolis to the Bronx for 35 straight years for his outbound freight. Coming back, he'd deadhead around, he'd partial some stuff out and everything else to head back into the Minneapolis area. But again, man, that consistency is where it's at. And then my podcast episode with my friends over at Authentic Logistics today, it was all about that niche. Like, you can't chase these spot markets in this market in particular. All right. You can't chase it. You have to identify that stuff, and especially when it comes down to, I know I brought up fuel earlier, but let's talk about that. Like my friends over at Trucker Tools, that you can literally put your lane in their app and it pulls up who has the most cost-effective fuel on your route. So it's like, dude, check that stuff out, and it's one of those situations where we need to put these best practices out there. My friends over at Trucker Tools, they have that available for you. Yeah, actually he did, Simon. He ran reefer freight as well as dry van freight. He ran windows out to, I forget the name of the city that he used to run out on Long Island. But yeah, man, he ran reefer for a lot of it. He drove in the 70s and the 80s. So he saw a lot of the real side of this industry. Good morning, Stephen Peterson. What's up, brother? How are you? All right. Well, let's jump into the first article. And then again, if you guys have any dedicated freight for Dedicated Trucking LLC out of the Fort Wayne, Indiana area, Scott Watanabe, the freight sensei, man, he asked if you minded do you mind heading into Chicago? So again, you guys connect on that maybe. And again, like that's what it's all about in this market. And that's ironically what the second article is going to be on, as well as on the spot market. So we'll touch base more on that. But first article is from ttnews.com. House transportation leaders call for truck parking funding. Thank God. Here we go. The leaders of the transportation community in the U.S. House of Representatives called the nation's top transportation officer to increase resources for expansion of parking facilities for truck drivers. This was a bipartisan bill. Peter DeFazio out of Oregon, as well as Sam Graves out of Missouri, the Committee on the Transportation Infrastructure Chairman and Ranking Member, argued that augmenting parking availability for commercial truck drivers nationwide would help make roadways safer and assist in tackling supply chain woes. Across the industry, lacking adequate parking access has been a concern over the years, very much so. As the department establishes its spending priorities, we ask that you closely consider applications for and awarding funding for projects that will expand truck parking capacity, the lawmakers wrote to Pete Buttigieg on June 7th. DeFazio and Graves went on, we believe that focusing funding on truck parking will improve highway safety for all road users and help alleviate the longstanding supply chain inefficiencies. We hope that we will continue to look for any opportunity to make progress on expanding parking capacity, they added. We urge the department to redouble its efforts and use the available resources at the department's disposal to finally make progress on this issue. Let me see here. The committee's leaders pointed out that an array of programs at the USDOT already available for Buttigieg and his staff to use for addressing parking concerns. These are including grants designed to expand regional freight and infrastructure projects, such as the Infrastructure for Rebuilding America, Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, and the National Infrastructure Project Assistance Program. So, dude, like, I like this a lot. I'm a fan that they are tackling this on the Senate floor, because again, like a lot of these programs, like the whole Build Back Better shit that was put out there, and again, this is what we need. Because like these are jobs to be added into local communities, and that's what we need. We need that emphasis on getting people excited about the blue collar work again, and put the emphasis on the trades. Because it's not just truck parking. So it's like, yes, that helps out a massive issue in our industry at that time, but that creates jobs in local communities across the nation. That helps young entrepreneurs get bids and have opportunities to build their companies and everything else. I mean, I think that there is more opportunity out there right now. If anybody wants to get into anything to business for themselves, there's more opportunity right now, because there are so many fucking people sitting on the sidelines playing it safe, waiting for it to happen, waiting for something to change, waiting for it to get easier. Guess what, you guys? It ain't getting easier. All right. This is reality. What we live in, change is reality. Change in this industry is reality, and it's not going anywhere. So for me, it's like not the fallout of this, excuse me, but like the way that this can trend is that reinvestment in the local communities. That improves roadways, that improves those downtowns, those small little communities that we all love across America that have those cool little crafts that are dependent upon tourism. Like this makes America, more sustainable on an infrastructure level, and that's what I'm all about here on this show, you guys, is I believe, and you won't convince me differently, America is the greatest nation on earth, and we need to make it look that way from an infrastructure purpose. The fact that some of these things, like we can willingly send billions of dollars other places, but we can't fucking do certain things at home, is what really irks me a lot. But with this one, it goes on, words alone are not enough. Yes, I would agree with that. Now let's hope, if we only had $1, you guys, for every time a fucking politician has said that and done nothing, we would all be billionaires by this point. We must take concrete steps to design, build, and rebuild roads that prioritize safe movement of people, regardless of how they move. I hope that has redoubled our commitment to safety. And earlier this year, Buttigieg told the Senate panel that his department was pursuing strategies to increase and access parking for the country's truck drivers, that this is a very important issue to talk to any truck driver. And that's the thing. When you actually talk to truck drivers, that's like the biggest issue that a lot of them have is safe and adequate parking. And I think that, as a whole, it's like even if you're road tripping and stuff out there, like there's got to be some more sustainable and better options for our drivers to utilize in this. And again, that article itself was from ttnews.com. House Transportation Leaders call for truck parking funding. And that's exactly what we need. We need this done, like enough talk, as they said. We need viable solutions and action, because ideas are their ideas aren't worth nothing unless you start executing on that. Scott, hit him up. He says, it looks like he's interested in that. DM each other on LinkedIn. Let's get something moving. Good morning, Samantha Bass. Great to see you in here this morning. Andrew Teal, keeping me on my heels. If we spent $10 billion on parking, what does that look like? Building large lots that are just wide open, adding onto rest stops. I'm just wondering what it means. Rubber hits the roads. I think, Teal, it's the look at the current like traffic flows. I think like if you look outside of most major metropolitan areas, there is some vacant land that we could possibly build on. Now, again, I get there's the environmental concerns and everything else that can kind of come along with that. But I think if there's certain areas like that we can add on to certain parking lots, and there's some industrial areas that have vacant lots that they can use for that, I don't know. I think that there's a way that we can go about this to where as we build out and repair our infrastructure in our country, I think that it is expanding. I think it's a combination of both. I think it's adding on to rest stops. I think building some large lots that are out there. I mean, shit, I can only speak from where I live out in Arizona. There's a lot of fucking barren desert out there that you can utilize to build out on, as I'm sure there are in other countries in other states. But I think that with the current structure of some major metropolitan areas, like that's not going to be viable. Like I don't see how they're going to be able to do that in like Los Angeles or New York or San Francisco or certain areas like that. But I think that if there was a way to actually implement it to where it is adding, another 100 spots, or, making sure the rest areas are up and running, because that's one thing that I've been hearing a lot. And, drivers, if you're out there, how many rest areas are you guys still seeing that are closed right now? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Teal. But we all know that that's probably what would happen anyways with the way our government loves to operate. I'm probably going to get flagged. I've said them too many times today. Let's get into this next article. And this is what Dedicated Trucking, you're going to like to hear this. This is written by my friends over at JOC, and it's from Ari Ash, and it's U.S. spot truckload rates steadying after declines. After 4 months of steep declines, U.S. spot truckload rates are stabilizing, including the critical West Coast market, amid the traditional uptick in freight activity between Memorial Day and July 4th. Who else has been saying that? Just curious. But industry analysts are uncertain what will happen after the Independence Day, as retailers indicate they have the wrong inventory in stock. Department stores and clothing stores have said that they have too much casual clothing and active wear in stock and not enough formal wear for people returning to the office or attending social events. Well, luckily for them, I only wear orange shirts. All right. So if you got excess orange shirts and they're going on sale, your boy's fucking swooping them up. It's not clear, however, whether this will result in a slowdown in freight movement and urgency to get appropriate inventory in stock before the holiday season, while retailers mark down prices to flush the unneeded inventory. John Payne, a senior manager of pricing strategy and analytics, said rates will bounce up and down in the 35 days between Memorial Days and the 4th of July. From March to May, we saw extreme market softening, the largest decrease in rates and capacity loosening we've seen in years, Payne said. Then there was a bounce back starting in mid-May, approaching Memorial Day, ironically around, what was that thing called? Oh yeah, DOT inspection week. All right, we've been talking about here. So again, This is why we need to stay ahead of the curve in a lot of this stuff, you guys. And then they go on to say that freight has bounced back about 5% since Memorial Day. The peak of the van market was $3.38 a mile in January. While on this index, which is compiled by analyzing data from Cargo Chief, DAT, Freight and Analytics, and LoadSmart, it says. And it also goes on to talking about stabilization on the West Coast. California was a precursor for the spot rate slowdown for the past 3 months. Spot van rates fell there 2.3% between November and December, and then dropped another 20% in the first 4 months of the year. But while spot van rates fell 13 cents between April and May, nationally rates only fell 2 cents in California and less than a penny out of the LA market. And shipper rates out of California are up 3 cents though through the first for the first week of the month. And DAT's forecast calls for broker to driver ratios to climb 12 cents month over month, which is, hey, that's a good sign. But that's in California, based on 212 lanes in California. The sound of surprising shippers are front loading cargo that's out there. And then it goes on to talk about that contracted rates are getting competitive. Shippers nationally are paying less today to move loads on the spot market than under contract. Contracts are now coming down. The peak is crested. That doesn't mean, however, that shippers expect truckload rates to be cheaper than a year ago, especially when fuel is included. Contract rates were up 19 cents last month compared to May 2021, which includes fuel surcharges, the 40 cents. And then excluding the DAT reported contracted, excluding fuel, DAT reported contracted van rates in May were up 8.5% compared to that above a year ago. So again, this is one of those scenarios, you guys, that's what you're going to see, but it's going to be more of a stabilization in my experience. And again, I know I've only, moved 3 truckloads in my career, but you guys, what you're going to see is a stabilization of sorts. All right. So when contracts are extremely high, and we were literally just talking about this yesterday, when contracts are high, spot markets are lower, they're going to look for that happy medium. There's no shipping manager. I've never been a shipping manager, but the shipping managers I've talked to, and then my guess is that nobody's out here looking to make the contracted rates the spot market rate. That won't happen. That won't be sustainable, especially with fuel being what it is. So it's like, if you want to find a silver lining with high fuel costs, is that right there, in my professional opinion, is that they're going to keep rates higher. If they're paying, their contract is $3 a mile right now, and the spot market's at $2 a mile, they're not going to drop to 210 or 220. Hell, they won't even drop it to 250. I would assume, based off of my experience in 3 truckloads, is that they're going to probably look for like 285 a mile, maybe low 280s is where they're going to look at. And that's excluding fuel. That's contract line haul. So I think that is where the market will trend to after probably mid-July. They're going to wait and see through the holiday rush and then some blowover period of that. But I think that around the probably mid-July is when you're going to start to see, I don't want to call it pushback, but again, you guys, like, they need to make money too. But here's one thing I want you guys all to rest assured on, is that if you've been a true partner over these last couple of years, which has been, although not an anomaly of a market in the fact that the market changed, it's been an anomaly of how drastic it did. But if you've been a true partner in there and you've provided consistency, you're going to be just fine. It's always going to be the ones, and again, I'm going to call out the brokers first on this. It's the ones that when they sense a little bit of opportunity, they run the rates down to the absolute bottom. You don't want to work with them anyways. And chances are they're not going to have that freight very long if they're out there running that operation, because the real shippers out there, you guys, they lose money if freight sits on their docks. All right. They need to get this freight moved. So I think that if you've been a true partner, this isn't going to affect you as much. Hell, they might even let you honor your current contracted rate, knowing what fuel is, knowing that your expenses are up, because this stuff's already budgeted in. Now, are they going to look for savings in other areas? Of course they are. But that's what happens every single year, you guys. But again, like, this is the whole point in us knowing our costs, knowing our break-even point, knowing our profit margin. And I say break-even point because that's like your overhead number. All right. At the end of the day, factor in your profit here. I want you to make money. Shippers want you to make money. Brokers want you to make money too. The right brokers. But that's one thing you got to focus on, is what can you control and how can you control it. Let me see. Andrew, I'm just getting caught up in some of the comments here. And again, you guys read this article from my friends over at the JOC, U.S. spot truckload rates steadying after declines. I check it out. I thought it was a good read. Baton is good. I actually had them on my podcast a while ago, man. And their little local delivery thing, it is interesting. It really is, where they're creating those drop trailer yards essentially, and then they're organizing the final mile. It's interesting, man. Andy Turnbull, raising the safety of our drivers to the standard of services they have access to is critical. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm all about that. Jeremy Reed, what creates inefficiencies is the 14-hour clock that also creates log jams. Yeah, Jeremy, I'm just one of those guys that I think so. I had a driver on my podcast a while ago as well, and he was talking about that, about shutting down his clock early. And now and instead of like maxing out your 14 hours in the day, where it's like, if you know you're going to end up in a major metro area and you can't drive through that to get to the other side, because it's like everybody's fighting for the same stop 10 miles outside of the city, find an open lot out there. And that, kind of like what Andrew Teal is saying, like, let's better utilize that. I think that if you go in there and shut down at 13 and a half hours in the day and you're 30 minutes early, and then you can start 30 minutes earlier than everybody else, you're going to miss all that morning traffic. Scott goes and said, DM sent. I like it. Let me see. I think inventory RFP lots are going to be taking breath right now. Last 2 years, almost any decision or change was okay. Yeah, absolutely, man. Now the market won't tolerate the mistakes. Yep, I agree. Absolutely. And then fast food. Yeah. I just think that's one thing where it is. It's like, you need to be efficient in your business, to say the least. We don't have a ton of time left to get into this last article, but I'm just going to read through it because I think this is kind of it was a good read. And again, I put all the links to the articles out there on my YouTube channel as well as my podcast. And then this one was from Transport Dive: Driver Poaching More Common in a Tight Labor Market. I'm not going to say that there's a driver shortage that's out there, because that's what they always like to lead into on these articles. And it goes on to talk about all drivers or all carriers are looking to poach drivers and attract them for different reasons in the industry. If you aren't trying to lure qualified, experienced drivers to your company, you'll have a hard time keeping up. And poaching drivers, one of the most common tactics to poach drivers is to offer a competitive salary, particularly among startup carriers looking to build up their labor force. And then we're going to talk about the driver shortage. It goes on to say, if you're starting a trucking company tomorrow and you're going to offer drivers $200,000, you're going to find drivers. Bingo, right there. I think that, again, it's not, but like, pay isn't everything. I think if you're running a trucking company, there's a lot of different factors out there. Furthermore, downtime. If a truck breaks down, you got the funds to fix that shit, keep them up and running, put them in a rental, do all of that. There's a lot of stuff. I think that, this is an article I want you guys to kind of read on your own, because I know we only got like a minute left here. Transportdive.com, driver poaching more common in tight labor market. There's a lot more factors that go into this than just a driver's salary. All right. Because I've rarely left a job because of pay. I've left jobs due to lack of leadership or my decision to leave on my own. But I think that pay isn't as big as people want to play it out to be overall. Scott, Freight Sensei, works both ways in regards to building relationships. If you as a carrier can develop those relationships with a good broker and allow them to utilize your equipment consistently, amen, man. Yeah, guys, that's kind of it for today. I know we only got like a minute left. We'll be back. Thank you guys all showing up early for these last couple of days. It means the world to me that you guys came in early. We'll be back at our normal scheduled time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, starting on Monday. The Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation. I'm going to try and get this audio-only version available out there on the podcast, but the video replay will be available on my YouTube channel immediately after this. I appreciate you guys all so much, and I will see you guys on Monday. Also, if you check out the latest episode of the podcast with my friends over at Authentic Logistics, talking about niche-based selling and building up their brokerage based off of the niche. Jeremy, thank you, man. I appreciate the support. Share this out, you guys. If you see value in it, share the show. All right. That's all I can ask from you guys, because this is all about education and progress. This is all about keeping the 97% of people in business and living out our American dreams. I'm fighting for you. I want to see you guys all win as well. Yeah, I know, Teal. I know. God damn it. He's got to say something. I love you guys so much, and we'll be talking to you soon.